Hello everybody, welcome back to Ctrl+Alt+Degree. Today we're going to talk about one central subject, but I want to say a lot of different things about it. So I hope it's going to come over as interesting to listen to. The main theme is you plan what you are, not you are what you plan. The second part won't be in the title, but it's very important. I'll start with a general scale of what I mean by planning and planning what you are and not being what you plan, and then I'll go more into depth about specific subjects. So, when people tell you to make a planning, to plan out your days, to see what you want to do, you always write down what you need to do, what you want to do. But the inherent problem with that is that you always want and can do more. You can say, oh, I have an hour, I want to do half of a course. You could also do the full course, or you could do 2 courses. So it's very difficult to say, oh, I want to do this specific thing and then also do said specific thing, because you always, instead of I'm going to do this, you say I want to do this. And if you start with something unrealistic, which a lot of people do, then it immediately becomes very difficult to actually succeed in your planning. Now, I've been saying you, and it maybe sounds a little bit accusatory, like I'm saying you're doing this and you're doing this. I don't mean like you're doing this wrong, I just mean that it is a general observation that when someone tells someone else to make a planning, you will plan what you want to do, not what you need to do. So that's also the problem I had with making fully fleshed out plans. I always think, oh, I need to do A, B, C and D, so I'll do A on day A, B on day B, C on day C, and so on. If it sounds like I have a sore throat, or if I speak a little bit strange, I do. I'm sorry. It's winter for everyone. But anyway, it's very easy to get lost in the whole system because you plan out what you need. It's a very simple way to make a plan. You start with a list of tasks you need to do, and then you translate them to, oh, what time do I give it? But I found out that, again, this is for me, not for everyone, but it works for me, so I try to share it to the world. I found that for me, it's more functional when I think about, oh, what will realistically happen in a time frame. If I have an hour, instead of saying I want to do this in an hour, I say I will probably do this. And when I do what I said beforehand, that's a proper planning. But I know it's easier said than done, and I can proclaim that I know everything, but I don't. So I propose a transition period. If you want to make a daily plan, it's very difficult to go from no plan to a full-on, fully worked out fledged plan every half an hour, something different. So first you need to learn to know and learn yourself. So what I did was I had a list, just a piece of paper, and on this piece of paper I wrote down what I did. Not what I wanted to do, but what I did. The hours and how long it went on for. And this creates a very real and grounded image of how you go through your day naturally. And if you get this idea of how your day works naturally, you can translate that to a very natural plan. And the first thing that this does is that it gives everything a realistic time frame. If you have a recording which is 1 hour long and you put it on times 1.5, you think, oh, I'll be done in 45 minutes. But in reality, you won't. And that reality will be projected through the paper. The paper will say, oh, you did 1 hour and 10 minutes. Next time you did 1 hour and 20 minutes, and then you did 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then, when you make a planning, you know, oh, this recording doesn't take 45 minutes, it takes 1 hour and 10 minutes. And then the next time when you make another planning, you know, oh, this is 1 hour and 30 minutes. I should calculate 1 hour and 30 minutes. Because another very important thing is calculate too much time. Give everything too much time. A break, half an hour. Something to eat, an hour. Maybe even 1.5 hours. Because if you calculate too much time to everything, less time is not bad. You probably won't go overtime because you already calculated too much. And when you calculate just enough, you go overtime. And that overtime is way worse than the time you have extra when you calculate too much. So calculating too much is way better than too less. And you'll have this natural response of like, oh, but if I calculate less time, I will have more to put into those spaces that I saved by putting less time. But then you're again planning what you want, not what you're doing. Take too much time. Take 5 minutes extra, take 10 minutes extra. I don't care, but take too much time. Because if you take too much time, you can do it at ease. Also, something else to remember is that you should calculate everything. If you have transports that take more than 10 minutes, you calculate those. And if you need to walk from one campus to another, if you need to take the car to your work, if you take the bike to your school, calculate those times. Because you're like, oh, it's only 10 minutes and it's only 20 minutes, but it has a visualization of how much time it takes. If you're using colors, it's even better because colors also have a visualization. It's a double combination. But calculate in everything. When you wake up, how long you take to wake up, when you eat, how long you shower, how long you study, how long you take breaks. And at first it will be confronting because you'll see how much time you spend not being productive, quote unquote. Quotes are very important because other tasks are also productive, but they're not productive for the job you're trying to plan. And of course, this depends from person to person. Some people take 10-minute breaks, some people take 30-minute breaks. Some people study for 1 hour, some people study for 2 hours. I personally study for 1.5 hours. It's my ideal time. Studies have shown that the brain can only concentrate for 50 minutes. You can kind of stretch it out until like 1 minute and 10, 1 minute 20, 1 minute 30, but farther than that it'll get very difficult. And then you'll get distracted. And if you get distracted for more than 5 minutes, you write it down. It might feel shameful, but it's not. You are now learning what you do. Not what you want to do, what you do. So even the distractions, even the traveling, even the little snacks or the walks or the talks with friends, write everything down. Try to learn yourself how you realistically are. So now that we've gotten to know ourselves, we can reflect. Without changing anything, we're just going to reflect. We're going to see, oh, how did I do this day? How did I do this day? I recommend starting to reflect around 1 week after you start writing down, but I've myself done it for 3 weeks and then started thinking about it, and I've noticed something very interesting. I worked for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, aside from tasks that were already fixed in place. So the fixed courses, the fixed labs, the fixed exercises, the traveling. When I just sat down at my workplace and started listening to the recording, started working for school, every day I only worked for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. Even if I did a lot or nothing at all, 1.5 hours. And now we have a realistic scope of what I do in a day. So when we have established this realistic scope, we can try to convert it into a real plan. Instead of saying I want to do 5 hours of school today and just put in a block from 2 to 7 school, we can make it realistic. We can say, oh, I have time from 2 to 5 and I know I only work 1 hour. So in the most simple way possible, we say 2 to 3 school. And if I work 2 to 3 in the school department, then I've already done more than I would do without a plan. That's great, but we want to try to optimize our time. So we say this period from 2 to 5, we want to do at least 1 hour of school. So the first 1.5 hours will take as 1 hour of school, but remember, we need to take too much. Then we will take way too long of a break, 30 minutes. I mean, I don't find it way too long, but a lot of people will say it's way too long. A break, 30 minutes. Then another 1 hour of school. So now we've already doubled our efficiency time in 2 hours instead of 5. We've already done 1.5 hours of school and 1 hour of school and half an hour break within those same 2 hours, what we used to do less of in 5 hours. Planning is very efficient. If you make it realistic, you will do everything you can, not everything you want. But in the end, you'll do even more than you anticipated beforehand, or at least that was in my case, because you are more organized with the time. Something that works a lot is when you have these time slots of 30 minutes. I use the Quiver app because I'm still a student, and it has colors. So I have one color for break, I have one color for commute, I have one color for schoolwork outside of the lessons, I have one color for schoolwork, the lessons and the labs and things like that. And then I have a visualization of what I did during the day. I can see, oh, I woke up late. And I can see, oh, I had a lot of courses, so I didn't have a lot of time to work outside of those courses. Or I can say, oh, in the weekend I don't have any courses, so now I have a lot of time to do school on my own. And with this more localized, realistic idea of how we spend our days, how we look at our own behaviors, we can look to the future. And we can, based on what we already know and what we reflected, sort of, quote unquote, guess what we will do in the next day or the next week. And this guess is kind of a planning, but a better planning than what we want to do, because it is more grounded and more realistic. I mostly shape it around things I know that are happening in a set time frame. So example, I have a lesson from 9 to 11, then I say, oh, before 9 I need to go to campus, so I calculate commute. After the 11 I can say, oh, I do 1 hour of school, and then from 12 I can say, oh, I eat, and then I calculate too much time for eating. And it is not what I want to do, because I don't want to spend 1.5 hours in my lunch. I don't want to spend 30 minutes on the bus, but I do. And then the guess is more useful and a better reflection of what will really happen. And thus the perfectionist percentage gets thrown away. And you need to be really objective, because even though you can do something in 20 minutes, doesn't mean you need to calculate 20 minutes. If you can do something in 20 minutes, you should probably calculate 25 or even 30 minutes. You should really, to get the objective view, you should really make sort of an abstract version of your own behavior. You need to study your own behavior like how people would study animals' behavior. Oh, this horse spends 20 minutes to go from this tree to this lake. When it starts at the tree, I will think, oh, 20 minutes, he'll be at the lake. But then when he doesn't arrive in 20 minutes in the lake, I think, oh, he'll be at the lake in 25 or 30 minutes. And that's also how you should think about yourself. Because the horse can run between the tree and the lake, doesn't mean it should always run between the tree and the lake. And when it's later, you just wait. That's also what you need to do with yourself. Observe your own behavior and calculate in extra error percentages. So now that we've got a rough guess of the future instead of the ideal future, we will divert a little bit and I'll try to explain something else that might hopefully make it a little bit more realistic inside of your head. If it doesn't, then just skip this part and forget I said anything. So, when you make a plan, it will not always go perfectly according to plan. So you need to be able to edit said plan, and then you can, on the phone it's very easy, just put in different time periods and it will shift around automatically. On paper it's a little bit more writing and scribbling and striking things, but just shuffle things around. And then you need to sort of create a feedback loop. Oh, if you notice that you constantly take 10 minutes more than you plan, the next time just calculate those 10 minutes in. And it's with everything, just create a feedback. You see, oh, this is an aberration, calculate in the aberration until it's not an aberration anymore. And you will always project a more realistic view of your behavior and not just what you want. Okay, so I am a sucker for examples, so I'll try to build out an example from something completely different. In the medical field, we have a very difficult question of how do you visualize something like a measurement. When you measure a light and how do you transform it into a screen? The initial workings are like taking a photograph. You take a photograph of the light that's coming to your detector, but it has a very limited resolution. So instead of just trying to paint the light signals, you absorb all of the light signals and then you compare that to something. This is called iterative reconstruction. Initially, the something is a blank, one flat white plane, and then you look at, oh, I measured something, I didn't measure a flat white plane, but I have a flat white plane. What are the differences? Then you write those differences down, and then the next time you measure, instead of starting from the white plane, you start from the differences. And this is a way to, if you systematically see the same difference pop up, you will build it up and up and up and up and up. But if there's something that isn't systematic, so isn't from the original image, it gets lost in the building. And every time you build again, or if you measure again and compare, it will start to look more and more like the original image, until a certain point where you say, yeah, this is good enough, this is the original image. That's also what you should do with your planning. You have your behavior, you've written it down, you visualized it, you know your own behavior. And then you look to the future. Oh, was your guess of the future not the same as your behavior if you look afterwards, if you reflect? then you need to change something. If you change something and you guess again, is it more accurate? Fantastic. Keep repeating this. If it isn't more accurate, what do you need to change? Not like, oh, I just need to do more, because you always need to do more. You need to make realistic changes at your own behavior. Again, like if you are guessing an animal, you can just say, oh, the animal needs to hunt more, needs to eat more, needs to drink more. Yeah, that's easier said than done. You need to say specific things. The animal will hunt from 10 to 11, and if the animal failed, it will hunt again from 11 to 12. And that's also how you need to change your own planning. Instead of just saying I need to do more or I need to spend more time, you can say like, oh, I calculated a break of 30 minutes and I spent 45 minutes. Next time I'll calculate a break of 45 minutes. And through this way, you again more realistically project your behavior onto the future. So now a word of warning. I've tried to explain what a way is to guess the future, but firstly, we don't know what the future will give. You will need to change things again and again and adapt and so on, but do what is best for you. For me, it is giving myself enough time, not stressing me, not pushing myself. Being gentle is a very important message for myself, because I notice that if I have a planning, I can also be gentle. I don't have to optimize every single 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Sometimes I can slip and give myself away and still have more than the behavior that I recorded in the beginning. Improvement is improvement. If it's not your maximum output, constantly efficient and working, it won't be the perfect working time every time. So just let yourself slip sometimes. Be kind to yourself. Don't push it, because you are still human. Even if you try to optimize a planning, try to learn from your behaviors, put in feedback loops, try to calculate what will and won't happen, you're still human. You will always find differences, you will always encounter problems, and we humans are very good at adapting against said problems. So please, when trying to do anything about planning or the future, be gentle with yourself. First of all, because you deserve it, and second of all, if you try to crack down too hard, if you're too strict with yourself, you will just give up all around, and then we're back to square one, where you aren't being efficient with your time. Again, not yet that you always need to be efficient with your time, but just we're talking about the parts where you partially need to be. If you're too strict with yourself, and if you're cracking down too much on your errors, try to give yourself a little bit more time. Even when in the beginning it seems like you're working less hours than without the planning, because of those feedback loops, you will eventually build up those working times more constructively. And that's what I mean with the whole idea of this planning in the end. Most plannings intuitively go as, what do I want to do? And then when you don't reach what you want to do, you destroy it. You get angry and you're like, oh my god, no, I didn't do it, I need to work harder. But we're trying to find a way to constructively build up part for part, calculating in your own behavior, your own personal characteristics. We're trying to build up a constructive and realistic view of what a planning should be, what you can do, not what you need to do, because you will always need to do more. Anyways, that was it for today's episode. I hope you at least got a few interesting sparks in your brain that you can take away to your next task or plan that you're going to make. If it didn't make any sense, I'm sorry. It's very difficult to explain such complex things, and making your own planning, it's very personal. If you have any constructive criticism, you can always message me. If you want me to talk about something else, just message me. I will try to reply, and I will calculate in those advices. Thank you very much to listening to me and this procrastination station again, and I will hopefully hear you in the next episode. Until then, please be gentle with yourselves and be constructive.